Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your ultimate destination for the latest updates, the most comprehensive analysis, and the insider information you need on our Los Angeles Lakers. Today I'm bringing you something that's been developing behind the scenes for months now. A situation that could fundamentally transform our roster construction and give us exactly the kind of piece we've been missing to make a legitimate championship run. We're talking about a player with championship pedigree, a two-way wing who's proven he can perform on the biggest stages, and someone who could slot perfectly into what J.J. Redick is trying to build. Here in Los Angeles, this isn't just speculation or wishful thinking from fans on social media. This is something the organization has been actively monitoring and pursuing, and the latest information suggests we're still very much in the hunt. Stay with me through this entire breakdown because I'm going to walk you through exactly who we're targeting, why it makes perfect sense for our system, what it would take to get a deal done, and what it would mean for our title aspiration this season. Let me start by painting the picture of where we are right now as a basketball team. The Lakers have been one of the stronger squads in the Western Conference to start this season, and that's despite dealing with some significant adversity early on. We had to navigate a stretch without LeBron James, which could have derailed a lot of teams. But this roster showed resilience and depth that frankly surprised some people around the league. Now that LeBron is back in the mix and we're getting closer to full strength, the expectations are rising, and rightfully so. We've got the talent, we've got the coaching, and we've got the mentality to compete with anyone in this conference. But here's the thing that separates good teams from championship teams. Championship organizations don't just sit back and hope everything works out. They're constantly looking for ways to improve, constantly evaluating the roster, constantly scanning the landscape for opportunities to add pieces that can push them over the top. That's exactly what Rob Pelinka and the Lakers brass have been doing. And according to NBA insider Jake Fisher, who recently discussed our trade priorities during a live stream on Bleacher Report, the Lakers are specifically targeting the types of players ahead of the trade deadline. First, they want a lob threat big man who can provide rim protection and vertical spacing in the pick and roll. Second, and this is where today's story gets really interesting, they want a two-way wing who can defend multiple positions, knock down threes, and contribute on both ends of the floor. That second category is absolutely critical in today's NBA, where versatility and switchability on defense can be the difference between winning and losing in playoff series against elite offensive teams. Now here's where this gets fascinating. The name that keeps coming up in conversations with league sources, the player who fits that two-way wing description perfectly, and who the Lakers have had their eyes on for several months now, is Andrew Wiggins. Yes, the same Andrew Wiggins who was the #1 overall pick in the 2014 draft out of Kansas. The same Andrew Wiggins who helped the Golden State Warriors win a championship just a few years ago. The same Andrew Wiggins who's currently suiting up for the Miami Heat and putting up solid numbers while playing significant minutes. This isn't a new development either. The Lakers-Wiggins connection started percolating over the offseason, and the fact that we're still hearing his name mentioned as a target tells you everything you need to know about how seriously the organization is considering this move. Let me give you some context on Wiggins' journey to this point, because understanding his career arc helps explain why he makes so much sense for what we're trying to accomplish. Wiggins entered the league with enormous expectations as the top pick. He was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but immediately got shipped to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a deal that brought Kevin Love to Cleveland to team up with LeBron in Minnesota. Wiggins was the featured piece, the guy they were building around, and he put up impressive scoring numbers as a young wing trying to carry a franchise. But the narrative around Wiggins during those years was always about unfulfilled potential, about a player who had all the physical tools, but wasn't consistently impacting winning at the level people expected from a #1 pick. Then came the trade to Golden State, and that's where everything changed for Wiggins. He went from being the focal point on a struggling team to being a complementary piece on a championship contender surrounded by established stars like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. A lot of players struggle with that transition, going from being the man to being a role player, but Wiggins embraced it completely. During the 2021-2022 season, which ended with the Warriors hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy, Wiggins appeared in 73 games and was absolutely instrumental to their success. He shot 46% from the field, 39% from three-point range, which are excellent efficiency numbers. He averaged 17 points per game, for 0.5 rebounds, and to 0.2 assists, but the numbers only tell part of the story. What made Wiggins so valuable to that Warriors championship team was his defensive versatility. He could guard wings. He could switch on bigger forwards. He could handle tough defensive assignments night after night without complaining. He was voted as an all-star that season, which validated what people who watched him closely already knew. When Wiggins is locked in and playing within a system that maximizes his strengths, he's a legitimate difference maker on both ends of the floor. That championship experience, that knowledge of what it takes to win at the highest level, that's invaluable, and it's exactly what the Lakers need as we try to maximize this window. With LeBron and AD, Wiggins spent 3 more seasons with the Warriors after that championship run, continuing to be a steady contributor even as the team dealt with injuries and roster changes. Then last year, Golden State made the decision to move on, trading Wiggins to the Miami Heat in a blockbuster deal centered around Jimmy Butler. That trade represented a fresh start for Wiggins, a chance to prove he could still be a high-level contributor on a different contending team. After arriving in Miami, Wiggins averaged 19 points for 0.2 rebounds and 3.3 assists while shooting 45% from the field. Those are really solid numbers for a player who's now 30 years old and still clearly has plenty left in the tank this season. With the Heat, Wiggins has appeared in 15 games so far, playing 33 minutes per contest. He's averaging 16.7 points for 0.9 rebounds and 0.8 assists. Defensively, he's contributing nearly 1 block and over 1 steal per game, which demonstrates he's still engaged and effective on that end of the floor. Miami currently holds a winning record through the first month of action, which complicates any potential trade discussions because teams that are winning generally aren't motivated to make significant roster changes. But here's the reality of the NBA. Every player has a price. Every situation can change quickly, and if the Lakers come to the table with the right package, Miami would at least have to listen. So let's talk about why Wiggins makes so much sense for the Lakers specifically. First and foremost, we need wing depth and defensive versatility. When you look at our roster construction, we've got elite talent at the top with LeBron and AD. We've got some really promising young pieces, but we could use another proven wing who can take on tough defensive matchups and space the floor. Offensively, Wiggins checks all those boxes. He's a career 36% three-point shooter who's shown he can hit open looks. When defenses collapse on primary scorers, that's crucial when you're playing alongside LeBron, who's going to draw so much attention and create open opportunities for teammates. Defensively, Wiggins gives us the kind of versatility that's essential in playoff basketball. We could deploy him against the Kevin Durants of the world, the Kawhi Leonards, the Paul Georges, all those elite wing scorers who can take over games if you don't have someone who can make them work for every bucket. Having Wiggins in our defensive arsenal would allow us to switch more freely, would give us more options in how we scheme against different opponents, and would take some of the defensive burden off LeBron during the regular season so he can be fresher for the playoffs. That last point is particularly important. LeBron is in his 22nd season, and while he's still performing at an elite level, we need to be smart about managing his workload. Adding a player like Wiggins who can handle tough defensive assignments allows us to do exactly that. From a fit standpoint, Wiggins would slide seamlessly into J.J. Redick's system. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He's comfortable playing off other creators, and he's shown throughout his career that he can thrive in a defined role on a good team. We're not asking him to be the number 1 option or carry the offense. We're asking him to be a complementary piece who can knock down open threes, attack closeouts when the opportunity presents itself, defend at a high level, and bring championship experience to a locker room that's trying to build that winning culture. Those are all things Wiggins has proven he can do at a championship level. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What would it actually take to get a deal done with Miami? That's the million-dollar question, and the answer depends on several factors. First, how does Miami view their season trajectory? If they continue winning and believe they have a real shot at contending in the East, they're going to be much less motivated to move a contributor like Wiggins. But if things start to slide, if they hit a rough patch and decide they want to retool rather than go all in this year, that could open the door for negotiations. Second, what assets are the Lakers willing to part with? We've got some young players who could be attractive to a team looking to get younger. We've got draft picks we could include, and we've got expiring contracts that could help with Miami's future cap flexibility. The key for Pelinka is finding that sweet spot where we're giving up enough to make Miami say yes, without gutting the core of what makes this team competitive right now. We can't afford to mortgage our entire future for a rental or sacrifice so much depth that we're actually worse off even after adding Wiggins. It's a delicate balancing act, but if anyone can navigate those waters, it's Pelinka. He's shown time and again that he knows how to work the phones, how to identify value, and how to structure deals that make sense for both sides. The fact that Wiggins has been on our radar for months suggests this isn't just a passing fancy. The organization has done their homework. They've evaluated the fit, and they believe he's worth pursuing. One thing that works in our favor is Wiggins' contract situation. He's making a significant salary, but it's not an albatross deal that extends for multiple years at a prohibitive number. That makes him more tradable from Miami's perspective and more palatable from ours. We're not taking on long-term financial commitments that would hamstring our flexibility moving forward. We'd be adding a proven contributor who can help us win now, without destroying our ability to make moves in future off-seasons. That's the ideal scenario when you're a win-now team like the Lakers. Let's also talk about the intangibles Wiggins would bring. He's been through the grind of an 80-game season as a featured player. He's been through the intensity of playoff basketball, and he's experienced the ultimate high of winning a championship. That experience matters, especially when you get to the postseason and the pressure ratchets up to another level. Having guys in your rotation who've been there before, who know what it takes, who can stay calm in high-pressure situations, that's invaluable. Wiggins wouldn't be overwhelmed by the bright lights of playing for the Lakers, or the expectations that come with trying to win a championship in Los Angeles. He's already done it on one of the biggest stages in basketball with Golden State. I also want to address the concerns some fans might have about Wiggins' consistency. It's true that he's had stretches throughout his career where he's been criticized for not being aggressive enough or not living up to the expectations that come with being a #1 pick, but context matters. Here, where Wiggins has been in the right situation, surrounded by the right pieces, and given a clearly defined role, he's thrived. Golden State proved that. The question isn't whether Wiggins can be a star carrying a franchise, because that's not what we need from him. The question is whether he could be an excellent third or fourth option on a championship team. And we already know the answer to that question is yes. Think about what our closing lineup could look like with Wiggins in the fold. You've got LeBron orchestrating the offense, AD dominating in the paint, Austin Reeves providing secondary playmaking and shooting, and Wiggins giving you two-way versatility on the wing. That's a lineup with no weaknesses, a group that can score with anyone and has the defensive tools to get stops when you need them most. In crunch time of playoff games, having that kind of balance and versatility is what wins championships. You need guys who can switch defensively without creating mismatches. You need spacing to operate in the half court, and you need multiple players who can make plays. Adding Wiggins would give us all of that. The timing of this potential move is also worth considering. We're not talking about something that has to happen tomorrow or next week. The trade deadline is still a ways off, which gives both sides time to evaluate their situations and figure out if a deal makes sense. For the Lakers, we want to see how this roster performs over the next month or two, identify exactly what our biggest needs are, and then strike when the opportunity is right. For Miami, they need to see if this current group can maintain their winning ways or if changes need to be made. The pieces are there for this to happen, and if it does, it could be the move that takes us from contender to favorite. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the Lakers pursuing Andrew Wiggins? Do you believe he's the right fit for what this team needs? What would you be willing to give up to make this deal happen? Are you confident that adding Wiggins would significantly improve our championship odds? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to know how Lakers Nation feels about this potential move. Let's get a real conversation going about whether this is the trade we should be prioritizing. If you want to stay on top of every development with the Los Angeles Lakers, every trade discussion, every injury update, every piece of analysis that matters, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Smash that like button if this breakdown gave you the information you were looking for, and share this with your fellow Lakers fans so we can build the most informed community of supporters in the league. I'll be here bringing you comprehensive coverage throughout this entire season as we chase banner number 18. So stick with me as we follow every twist and turn of this championship pursuit. Until next time, stay locked in, stay passionate, And let's keep believing in what this team can accomplish. Go, Lakers!